Cancer, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 3rd through the 9th. My name is Athen. So we've got a lot of shifts and changes happening this week. We have 3 planets changing houses, but it's all kind of in that same area. Well, 2 of them are. Mercury and Venus changing house, well, Jupiter and Venus changing houses here, and then Mars going into your first. But we have a 3-way conjunction, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus here in that first and second house of yours, which will certainly be the highlight. Now, Saturn's playing a big role this week. He is the grounded, disciplined energy. We had that full moon last weekend involving that. So now hopefully we've learned a lot about that kind of energy, and now we can move forward with a lot of this hard work and stuff. For you, it's building foundations literally in your life with Saturn in the 4th house. This has been an ongoing energy, but now this rest of this month, Saturn's in this 4th. So it's about maybe finishing up, but getting really stable, very grounded with things like home, family, taking care of some responsibilities there, structuring some things there so you can have a good foundation for Saturn's transit as he continues now to go up through the rest of your chart. So I do recommend this week as well as this whole month to really put in that hard work, especially right now involving a lot of this first house activity, your goals, you, who you are. Happy birthday to you Cancers who have your birthday this week. So that energy here is going from your, it's right here on the cusp between your first and second, as you can see where Saturn is squaring up to it. So it's a little bit of that, and it's also a little bit of your values, which you've been reflecting on perhaps with Venus retrograde in that second house. So this week, it's important for you Cancerians to note that coming off the full moon, the energies start to sort of die down a little bit. That's very important for you Cancerians. But there's a lot of activity still in this energetic part of your chart. So continuing with your goals, your drives, your ambitions. Now, the key with that is to stay grounded and to stay rooted and to take things one step at a time, because Jupiter, although he has been expanding a lot of this first house activity, this is where you want to continuously grow and build those foundations and expand. Keep expanding your horizons, but now it doesn't come as easy. Saturn comes around, he says, okay, look, it's been easy to expand those horizons, to expand yourself, those opportunities, to get out there, maybe do some of that adventurous traveling or studying philosophy or whatever it is you were doing for the past year. And now Saturn says, okay, you can have that, but that stuff has to come with effort. It has to come with discipline, especially when it comes to your goals and drives on both the short-term and long-term level. To assert yourself, you have to put in that energy. So that's exact on Monday. So the key with that is to be open to taking action. I think the expansion has been there, but the energy has to be incorporated, and that'll be an ongoing theme all week with this aspect in effect all the way, especially through Friday. So with that going on, the fast-moving planets are now going to be going over Jupiter, activated by that square energy. So with Venus, hopefully you've been reflecting on things relating to your groups, friends, networking. Those home and family matters hopefully have been going through a reflection period since Venus rules your 11th and 4th. And there's some more expansion there, maybe with those areas, okay? Home, family, groups, friends, networking, all those things can be very nice, especially Monday through Wednesday, when you're willing to learn about it, when you're willing to go through the motions, because retrograde periods, they're learning periods, but we have to implement them. We have to actually do it. And sometimes it becomes so internalized we don't. So some things to consider there with that. You can further enjoy maybe some of that health and routine this week, as well as opening those horizons and expanding, since Jupiter does naturally rule those 2 parts of your chart as well. So then here comes Mercury. Mercury joins the mix with this 3-way conjunction. And when he does this 3-way conjunction, he goes over, Venus and then Jupiter, and then goes into your second house. And at that same time, Jupiter goes into your second house. So here, now there's this shift. Now Venus is in your first, so you guys are, it's very important now for the next few weeks. Think about your self-image, redo your self-image, perhaps. Your values relating to yourself, which has been the case. All of that energy sort of reflect on. And that's where the opportunities will be coming in. But now Mercury comes in and says, okay, we can make this very practical. We can make this very real, very grounded. So your mind is now going to be centered much more around the perhaps material, financial side of things, with Mercury in the second house. So it's a good time to understand that now, temporarily with this, but to expand on this level now for about the next year. You guys are going to have Jupiter in that second house of finances, resources, your values, your simple pleasures, enjoying that relaxation. and hopefully some abundance coming in there. But with this square, again, you have to take action. It doesn't come without effort. But as we start to lift off from that, it will become easier. So some things to consider there, and some things to certainly implement with that second house. I'd really recommend it. Setting any long-term goals with that would be a very good way to work with this, where you want to see yourself, for example, in a year financially, stuff like that. So, Mercury, and Mercury does rule that 12th and 3rd house. So maybe you might be very optimistic about your communications, maybe very philosophical about your communications and thinking, maybe relaxing, doing some of that R&R in a way that's meditative this week could be good for you, since Mercury does rule at 12th as well. So the big highlight, though, is going to be this Jupiter, and I think enjoying this kind of energy here, but in a way that it's practical, it's real. See things realistically. One thing, too, is Mercury squaring Saturn helps us see things realistically, but try not to be too realistic to where it becomes pessimistic or too heavy, maybe relating to those second house things. Stay grounded, stay long-term, and that energy could certainly be assisting you with all of this. So that being said, Mars is trining up to Saturn. So there is, this interesting shift for you guys where now you have all the fast-moving planets out of your 12th house. So that wasn't the best place for Mars to be in, and now Mars is going into your first house. We'll be going over your guys' ascendants. And so now there's a good assertiveness. There's a good drive that's going to slowly start to get implemented as the following weeks unfold. But this week you should feel a shift where there's no more of that. Sometimes with Mars in the 12th house, when we put in energy, we don't really see anything back. And so it's just this constant thing where we're feeling motivated, but maybe we don't do anything, and that kind of push and pull. But now with Mars in the first, it's very direct, it's very assertive, and it's his house. So a trine up from Saturn does suggest a very good energy to work on those short-term goals and long-term goals, especially the long-term goals, and to set those intentions, to express yourself in mature ways. Maybe to set some intentions with your work and career, which is Mars ruling that 10th house. Maybe even with relationships. Saturn does rule your 7th. So this is a nice placement. Now, Mars isn't in the best position, so take it slow. But once Mars goes into Leo here in the next couple of weeks, a lot of that energy will start to ease up here in the next few weeks. So, so let me make sure I covered everything. It's definitive shift, definitely coming from the first, but still it's very much first house and second house for you, the self and your values. And definitely with Jupiter, taking things, that long-term approach to finances will be a big key. With spirituality, with philosophy, things like that. Continue to reflect on those groups, those home and family-related matters, whatever that's been going on, and make this stuff practical, make it real. That's Mercury helping you really conceptualize, make it into something that you could even write down and journal. Be a good energy for all of us to be involved with. Writing down goals is very important too, especially with the second house stuff. All right. So Cancer, have a nice week. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Thank you again for all of your support. If you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch, and I'll talk to you all next time. Take care.